Good morning. It's been a while since I started a video at 4:44 a.m., but when I woke up this morning, I decided, yes, I'm going to share the news that I received last night. The title today is Word from Peta. Peter. Pieta, it's actually pronounced. It sounds when I hear him say it, it sounds almost like Peter, but it's Pieta. Pieta is free. Those who listened to my conversation with Peter the day before yesterday will remember that he talked about one of his friends who had been arrested last Saturday. Well, I got word from him last evening that she had been released. There are certain details that are private at this point, but I can say that there was a lot going on behind the scenes to facilitate the release. As Peter put it to me, the judge got cold feet. Folks, a lot is happening to change the legal and financial landscape. Those changes will not happen all at once. I know that, and so should you. It took a long time to get us into this mess, and it will take some time to get us out. Ultimately, we will be freed from the debt slavery system of the banks, multinational corporations, and corporate governments that have taken over the world. For Pieta Morgan, the bells of liberty were heard yesterday. She is now free. Indeed, the debt slavery system, we were born into it. Unless we are very, very, very ancient. It's been going on for, in the United States, over 100 years. 1871, I believe that's the correct year, the bankers basically took over the government, but they did it more or less on an official level in 1913 when the Federal Reserve Act was passed. And the Federal Reserve has become the most powerful central bank in the world and controls and works in conjunction with other central banks around the world. And they have engaged in creating a debt slavery system that indebts not only individuals but entire nations and entire communities. The only people that have been able to resist that, and they pay a heavy price for that resistance, are Islamic or Muslim countries like Iraq and Libya and Syria and Iran. Only the Muslims stand up to the international bankers and say, we don't want your banking controls here. So it's really interesting to see some of the dynamics that are going on. And from what I've learned about Pieta, she is one of the freedom fighters. I did watch the video of her arrest, although it was taken down sometime after that, but they actually had cameras going there when the two policemen came to arrest her, the two people appointed by the government of Queensland, Australia. In any case, I was very, very excited to hear the good news last night from Peter, and I rejoiced as I realized that some of the things that are happening to change our world for the better, some of those things are coming to bear. The OPPT, you've heard me talk about that, actually created the legal foundation for our liberation. Now, I know some people don't believe that. Somebody sent me a channeled message from Cryon, also last evening, I believe is when I received it. In any case, it wasn't Lee Carroll channeling Cryon. It was somebody else that I don't really know the person. And it didn't have the feel to it that some of Cryon's channelings or Lee Carroll's channelings have from Cryon. But in any case, Cryon said this question was specifically asked about Swiss Indo. Are they going to be facilitating the changes? And the answer from Cryon was no, according to that channel. But as I see it, the Swiss Indo people are doing the most that I'm aware of. Now, there's many things I'm not aware of, and I don't have inside information to know all the things that are going on. I don't. But I am aware from what has been posted and shared publicly that Swiss Indo latched on to the OPPT, and Mr. Sino apparently is working to set up some kind of a CVAC structure from what I've been told and the information that has been released. Uh, and I mean, I wish I knew more, but like all of us, we are limited in how much we know because certain things, as I said yesterday, have to unfold. It's a process that got us into this mess, as I said in the blurb, and it will be a process to get us out. And it will probably be step by step, and a small group of people, and then a larger group of people, until ultimately freedom spreads not just to Pieta and that small group of people, but to a much larger group of people, and ultimately the whole world will be able to be liberated from the clutches and the shenanigans of this debt slavery system that has been instituted on Earth using kangaroo courts, or courts where people are railroaded in the United States. They call them kangaroo courts in Australia. I've heard Peter, pretty sure I heard Peter use that expression. Yeah, I know I did, in fact. Uh, and this admiralty system where our straw men is put into bondage, and they treat us like we have no rights. Well, I know that the United Nations has the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I know that. I know that the United States has a Bill of Rights. I know that virtually all the other countries have declarations of rights of one sort or another. And the Declaration of Human Rights is adopted by the entire world. Now, the entire world doesn't follow it, but there are rights that they know. I mean, these criminals that run this system, they know that they are breaking the law, which is why they're going to ultimately need to face the challenge themselves of standing before real courts based on real truth and meting out real justice. It's not about punishment, folks. I want you to hear me clearly. It's not about punishing people. It's about changing a system that is corrupt, that is based on fraud, that is in violation of universal law and of our own common law. They have turned everything on its head, inside out and upside down. As who was it? I gotta see if I can find that quote. I actually looked it up yesterday. Let me see if I can find it again. Hold on a second. Where is it? Maybe I can find it here. Let's go. Yes, I found it. Yes. Michael Ellner, in his book, Quantum Focus, a quick mind-powered total program for self-development, healing, and happiness, said this in his book, and it's his most famous quote. In fact, it's the only quote that I could find from Michael Ellner. Quote, "Just look at us. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Psychiatrists destroy minds. Scientists destroy truth. Major media destroys information. Religions destroy spirituality. And governments destroy freedom." End quote. Indeed, Michael. And the world is waking up to these facts. They are unfortunate facts on the sense that they were able to institute a system that undermined everything that is truthful, everything that is decent, everything that is ethical. They've undermined all that and created a system of fraud. But apparently we as humans, being as lazy and apathetic as we often are, needed just that. We needed to get really, really bad before we would pinch ourselves and say, is this really going on? Yes, it's really going on. They're spraying chemtrails in our skies with heavy metals and bacteria and other things. Oh, excuse me. Wow. And they're poisoning our water with chloride and with chlorine and fluoride. They're putting genetically modified organisms into our food products. They're contaminating our soil with fertilizers that actually make the soil go sterile. They are doing all sorts of things to our health. They are bombarding us with electromagnetic frequencies and waves that are not waves that we resonate with naturally. They cause a dissonance in the field in which we find ourselves living. There are so many insane things going on. We know that they have plans, as I said, I guess I said it in yesterday's video, to reduce the world's population down to 500 million people, or a half a billion people. Well, that means they have to eliminate, I guess the population now is what, 7.2 billion on Earth now? I saw that not too long ago. So they have to eliminate 6.7 billion people from the planet if this insane game plan of theirs is going to come about. But there are people that are working to change that. There are good people in the world, and some of them quite powerful, that are working on creating a system that returns civil rights and human rights back to the people. We want to create a world that nobody goes hungry, that nobody everybody has a roof over their head. Everybody has safe drinking water. We've been spending a whole lot of our wealth, if you will, a whole lot of our resources have been used to enslave humanity rather than to liberate humanity and set us all free. And what happened with Pieta yesterday is just a very tiny indication that some of these changes that are being worked on are being facilitated, and they're being heard by the powers that be. As Peter said, the judge got cold feet. I don't know all of the details. I haven't talked to Pieta yet. I did send her an email, even though she's not one of my friends. I did look her up on Facebook. She's listed on Facebook as a freedom fighter, I think. I know she's a freedom fighter because Peter told me so. I don't know her personally. I do know Peter personally through the internet. I've never met him in the flesh yet. But I believe him. He's a man of integrity. You've heard him speak. You know that. You know he's like I am. He's going to tell the truth. In any case, folks, things are happening in the world that you and I don't know about yet. But I have enough of an inkling of some of the things that are going on. And one of my friends said that he did not have resonance with the OPPT from the time that he's heard it. And he's one of my close friends. And I wrote back, I did have resonance from the first time I heard it. I knew that Heather and the trustees had given us a gift that was very, very powerful. And then I learned that this Mr. Sino, whom also I have never met, who is M1, somebody in Benjamin Fulford's latest post, he said that their P2 or one of these lodges wants to appoint the current Pope Francis. Is that? Yeah, I guess that's what name he goes by. They want to appoint him as M1, and I responded back, Mr. Sino is M1. That's from what the stuff that I've read and been posted. He is the M1, which means he's in control of the world's wealth. He's the number one guy. That's why they call it King of Kings. And it's an ancient thing, and it's a system that we don't know about, and it's traced back. In fact, I printed it out. The history of banking. Where did King Solomon's treasure go? An Asian perspective. I printed it out, or at least the form that I looked it up in. Powerful, powerful stuff, folks. But Mr. Sino is M1, according to this report. He's the one that ultimately it kept going down and going down until he's the one that's in control of the world's wealth. And he has a big heart, a wonderful heart, from what I've been told. Again, I haven't met him, folks. I want you to understand I have not met this man. but he has a heart that wants to set the people free. And because he does have power and influence, other people are being influenced. And I don't know what all he's doing. I'm not sitting there in Indonesia and getting the information firsthand. I'm not. I don't know anybody else that is sitting there and getting the information firsthand. But there are things that are going on that are very, very positive in the world. And I have a tendency, and I admit it, and those of you that have been listening for a long time know it, when I see something that has a promise of hope, a promise of being what is needed to spring the trap and let humanity off the hook and set us free, I jump on that bandwagon. And so right now, until I prove otherwise, as happened with the Republic for the United States of America, with Rusa, that it happened that was not what I thought it was. They obviously self-destructed after Tim Turner got arrested, and he has not been released. So whatever influence he may have had and been working with, it didn't work in his case. But right now, for me, Swiss Indo offers the greatest hope of liberating humanity and of creating a system, which I've talked about in other videos, the CVAC system, to replace the corporate system, where ultimately everyone is accountable. Now, there's a whole lot of awakening that has to go on before those changes come into effect. I'm well aware of that. But I believe there are people working to help facilitate that and help spread that vision and to create the nuts and bolts system that will be able to make a peaceful transition from the system we have known to the system that we will know, whereby we are enriched and empowered instead of enslaved by fraud and corruption. Ultimately, the truth shall set us free. I'm happy to be able to share the news with you today that one of the freedom fighters of the world who was taken into custody, whom, as I understand it, was not supposed to even have a hearing until the end of this month, the 30th or something. She was released yesterday. Oh, no. Yeah, yesterday. See, in the time things, when I'm talking to Peter, there's 14 hours difference. And I guess she was released yesterday morning, from what I know, or it could have been the night before that in Australian time. In any case, she's free, and ultimately we're all going to be free. Folks, that's my dream, that's my vision, that's my hope. I have no way of personally carrying it out, but I do the best I can to watch what's going on in the world and pay attention. And I want to leave you with that encouragement that there are people that are working for our liberation. Be assured that God has promised, that our Creator has promised ultimately that good is going to triumph over evil. I leave you with that. Namaste. Thank you for listening.